What's up, guys? It's Ray J back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with Tesla, SPY, Nvidia, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I'm going to talk about some key levels to watch for what the news is saying about Tesla and how things are looking, in my opinion. But just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Moomoo link. If you deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. If you deposit $1,000, you're guaranteed 15 in total, not to mention 8.1% APY on invested cash. The offer ends very soon in just 2 weeks. Anyways, now let's talk about what's happening with the market. So, as far as Tesla's going, right now we're looking at this key support around this 470 area. Tesla's holding above that very, very nicely. If that fails, still we're going to be looking for 468 and 465. So make sure you watch those levels. We also have this resistance, to watch for around that 475 area, and then the main one's at 480. Overall, that's what's slowing Tesla down, at least thus far. So, as you guys can see, 480 is very tough. And this is the first time in a while where Tesla has pumped very nicely, only to slow down at resistance. This is a sign that Tesla could slow down a bit. However, I still think the upside potential still remains, at least later on. So I'll talk more about this in just a minute. As you guys know, there is some news that has come out. Tesla's continuing to get lots of upgrades from different analysts, from Mizuho, not to mention Morgan Stanley, and then we also had others out there such as Wedbush, who are very, very bullish on the share price. This is what's helping the share price really soar, not to mention the anticipation of the robotaxi coming out for next year. So very, very awesome stuff. However, I do want to call out that insurance registrations in China did dip a little bit for the week. We saw about 18,500 of these registrations between December 9th and December 15th. That's down 15% from the 21,900 we got during the previous week. Now, despite that, this is a chart right here. You guys could see it's not looking too bad, because even though there's a slight dip in the latest week in the Chinese registrations, it's not really that bad, because we're still at one of the highest weeks we've gone for the entire year. And if anything, we are expecting the sales to continue to increase for the year end, because we tend to get a big pushes towards the end of the year, and hopefully we get a very, very nice surge in their sales. We have the Tesla's delivery report coming out in just a couple of weeks, so that's going to give us more insights about how Tesla sales are looking and how they can meet up with these demand expectations. So make sure you watch for that very carefully. Besides that, in terms of data for the broader markets, there's not really much that's come out. I think we just should be seeing the bill auction coming out. Then we have the bond auction later, not really causing too much of a big move. And now the market's going to be very, very tight between some key levels. So, what do I see for Tesla? As a reminder, if we manage to lose 470, we're looking for 468 and then 465 as our supports. If we manage to break above the resistance that we happen to have at that 475 area, I'm going to be looking for an attempt to get up to 478 all over again, which is the pre-market high, followed by 480. So today, what happened to Tesla was we pushed to 480, and then we slowed down. We were not able to hold above that. So I think that Tesla's going to continue to shuffle in this range. We might be making a move back down to like 470. Overall, we're still in the green despite that. It's just that we hit some tough resistance that is temporarily slowing Tesla down a bit. So look for 470 and see what kind of reaction we get from there. I do think we could be retesting that, but otherwise, we're just very, very choppy, not really doing a whole lot. For instance, if you look at like the 5 minute time frame, you guys can see what I'm talking about. We're stuck in a range, right? We had this dip upon open all the way down to about 465. Then we bounced back up to about 485, and then we came back down. We're just trading sideways. So I expect Tesla to just remain range bound for the majority of the rest of the day, and there's not really much that's going on. This might try to push towards the end of the day if the market pushes as well, but excuse me, we'll have to see about that. As far as SPY goes, just know this: SPY is also technically range bound. So if you look at this, and we're still in the range, right? Around the 602 to 603 area, we tend to get bought back up, and around 608, we tend to reject. But notice that SPY is holding its support down here. So this may also chomp around a bit here, but there is potential for this to try to rebound. And if SPY and the QQQ do rebound a bit, that could help Tesla to some extent. We might see Tesla follow the trend with these algo shifts, which could lead to a little bit of upside towards the end of the day, possibly. So as long as SPY does not lose 604, we do have the potential to push up towards this gap fill towards 606. So I could see a little bit more upside. But otherwise, we're still in this pennant going back and forth and back and forth. That's going to likely continue until we get the FOMC reaction. So keep that in mind. ES is kind of flat right here. We're testing 6120 is the main support. If we bounce off that, we're looking for 61.40. If anything, I think we're doing a good job at holding up, but just be a little bit careful. And also, there is a big divergence between ES and SPY, which is it's very rare to see that. So for now, we're holding our support well, and we'll have to see if we lose 6100 or not. Otherwise, I just see it shuffling. Nvidia is looking weaker out of all the other like big tech stocks. I would say it's showing some weakness. We're going to be watching to see if it could hold above 128 by close. As of right now, we're holding it well. So see if we get bought back up above 130 or not. Otherwise, we're just going to likely shuffle and consolidate near 130 or a little bit below that. For Bitcoin, we're kind of flat here around this 107,000 area. If we don't break past that, there's going to be a risk of this tipping into about 105,000. Otherwise, it's kind of flat. For NQ, just like ES, I called out to 22,250, which is where we dipped to, only to bounce off of that. So we're going to likely shuffle between 22,300 and 22,400. That's going to be the most likely possibility. For the QQQ, we dipped only to rebound. So we saw this nice little pullback to about 534, and now we could be attempting to get back up to 538. There is some potential. It's a little choppy here, but I could see somewhat of a push that's coming. Apple dipped down to about 250 instead of coming a little bit lower and bounced. So we're looking for an attempt to get up to about that 254 resistance. Overall, it looks more and more bullish. The Russell is showing some weakness. We called out 231. That's exactly where this went to. So watch to see if we base at 231 to bounce. We'll have to see if we bounce here or not. If we lose 231, we could turn even more bearish for 230 flats and eventually 228. If we hold 231, we could be bouncing for 236. So make sure you watch and see if we hold that support. For coin, we're very flat right now, trading sideways in this range between 310 and 320. We could be looking for a 310 retest. Otherwise, we're just very, very choppy. For Amazon, we are very flat right now. We have 232 as our resistance. We have the support at 228.9. We're holding support very nicely. So we're going to be watching to see if this tries to rebound for 234. As long as we don't lose 228.9, we could attempt to push. For Meta, we're just completely range bound around 625, just going back and forth, but we could attempt to bounce for 630 as long as we don't lose 622. For Microsoft, we look more bullish. We're holding support very well. We're looking for an attempt to get back up to the high right here from a couple of days ago, back up to about 456. So it looks more bullish to me. And then for Google, we're just shuffling just under 200. We're going to be watching to see if we can break that. Obviously, it's a tough resistance, so just be careful. With that being said, Tesla's pumped very nicely. We are shuffling right now in the 470 area, but I see potential for this to possibly pump towards the end of the day if the market does get a pump. Otherwise, we might just see a lot of consolidation, at least for the time being right now. With that being said, guys, I just want to thank you all so much for listening. Please have a great rest of your day. I'll be back in a couple of hours to give you guys another update. So until then, don't forget to watch your levels very closely. Be careful of Tesla, as it might chop around for a bit, but there is still upside potential for it towards the end of the day, not to mention the future. We also have FOMC tomorrow, so I'll talk more about FOMC at least then. Until then, thank you all for listening and peace out.